Okay, so of course everything is disinfected already, but I'm just going to do it again. Over here, I want to have my mandibular angle. And from here, I'm going to give her the treatment. There's the jowl. So the jowl should be avoided. So from here, I'm going to give a very nice and thick retrograde over here and a nice thick retrograde to the preauricular area. In between is going to be hyperdiluted calcium hydroxylapatite. From the pre-gel sulcus entry point, I'm going to move anteriorly to the mentum with a thick calcium hydroxylapatite, and with diluted, I'm going to inject for skin quality improvement more superiorly. Start with a little blab of lidocaine with adrenaline. Both entry points, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, 2 entry points. So I'll lift the cheek with my non-dominant hand, and I push the syringe down in order to point the cannula tip to the superficial layers so that it just touches the skin. And then from the preauricular area down, I will inject approximately 0.2 to 0.3. in a thick retrograde linear thread. Then I want to accentuate that mandibular angle in a little bit more posterior position than the real one, because the real one is just anterior to this point. When there's resistance, I just rotate the cannula, then I'll get through. The twisting turning technique, or the pencil rolling technique. And then when I get to the mandibular border, I just go all the way till I reach the post-gel sulcus. And then superficially, I want to create sharpness. And so 2 fingers can kind of squeeze lightly in the skin in order to create sharpness to that line that we've injected. Okay, let's have a look. Nice definition is starting to become visible. Sharpness, more of a straight angle compared to the signs of bone resorption that will result in a more widened angle. Just going to go ahead and give her a little bit more in that mandibular angle itself. Okay. Just missing a little tiny touch over here in the post-gel sulcus. So that should be approximately here. Okay, right there. And then the second part of the treatment is over here. Okay. And then the cannula ends up just below that little dimple. in the subcutaneous plane. So this is all subcutaneous. And I'm injecting approximately 0.3, I think, of non-diluted calcium hydroxyapatite in the pre-gel sulcus. Okay, I'll leave a little bit just to use for, let's say, any symmetry corrections at the end. Excellent. So in between the retrogrades used for defining the jawline, I will use diluted calcium hydroxyapatite in order to improve skin quality. So stay superficial, which means I lift the cheek, I press the syringe down in order for the cannula tip to scrape against the lower part of the dermis, and so the product will be injected as close to the dermal fibroblasts as possible, and that will give the maximum efficacy of the product because it will be close to the targets, which are the dermal fibroblasts over here. And those fibroblasts are going to be responsible for the actual skin quality improvement by new collagenesis and production of elastin. And maybe even, they may even contribute to skin moisturization, because we see this very healthy glow in the skin. Maybe it's just collagen and elastin, but I can't help but think that there is also maybe some moisturization effect. Maybe the fibroblasts are also starting to produce more hyaluronic acid. Right, so that concludes two-point cannula technique. There's almost no more jowling visible. We see a nice sharp definition of the cheek in contrast to the shadow of the neck. You see slight depositions. There's a little bit visible product. That's not a problem. We just press it. And we need it to be a bit visible because it will aid in the sharpness of the definition of the mandibular angle.